Hello everyone, this is Blanca and I hope you're having a good morning, afternoon or evening. In today's video, I'm going to be creating a birthday card using this lawnfawn shutter card die. So I hope you stay and see how it turns out. If you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing. I post different types of crafty videos, and if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back and watching this video. I will leave a list of most of the supplies that I use in the description below. This is a 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock, white cardstock, and here I'm going to adhere with some dot runner a piece of pattern paper so that I can cut off my shutter card from. So here is the main panel of the shutter card cut out with the die. I was gonna cut the middle part of it now with the same die, but then I decided to do something else because actually the paper was too thick to cut the middle part. So now I'm using this other cardstock. This is more of a lighter powder blue cardstock to cut my flaps of my shutter card and some of the other dies, the little cupcake, a couple of balloons, the happy birthday greeting. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cut that. And I ended up not using the balloons later, but as you will see. Now I'm going to cut the middle panel of my shutter card, and for this I'm just putting two pieces of the cardstock adhered together, and again I'm just using dot runner. I ran out of it, so I'm just switching the little cartridge, and I'm just going to add some dot runner here, put it together, and then cut the middle part, and then I'm going to be trimming it. So I'm cutting that middle panel with the same die, but I'm just gonna be using like the middle panel. You will see how it works here. Lawnfawn does sell an add-on to cut the middle panel that makes it easier, but I don't have that, so I'm just gonna use the same die to cut that middle panel, as you will see here. The shutter card set also comes with this little guide so that you can cut the circle in the middle. So I'm just go ahead and do that. I added the little die, the little guide die, and then I removed it to put the circle in, because if I left it, it kind of puts an indentation on it, and I didn't like that. So I just went ahead and just sort of put it together with a little post-it tape so the circle wouldn't move. I was going to use this little leftover circle to put my little cupcake on there as the background, as you will see later, but then because it's this like sort of powder blue, it's very light, it just kind of blended into the cardstock. So I decided to cut a white circle and then add the little powder blue cupcake on top of it so that you can see it more, as you'll see here, like this. And then I ended up cutting my happy birthday greeting, cutting it in white because it will look better on the card as well. As you will see how it all turns out. Now that I have all the pieces, I'm going to start assembling and putting together my shutter card, as you will see here. To add my little flaps here, there are some little guides so you can know where to put them, and I'm adding some dot runner to it, but then later I ended up removing them and also adding glue because just the dot runner is not strong enough. It kind of will fall apart, so I will recommend that you use dot runner, but you also add glue, and that will just add time to the whole process of making this card because I have to wait for the glue to dry. But I will recommend that you add glue in addition to the dot runner. As part of the set, there's also a little panel that comes where you can cut these little vertical panels to put on the front, but I ended up not using that myself, and I just cut this to the exact size because the little panel that comes in the die is just a bit smaller than this, so that you can leave sort of a little white edge. But I just decided to cut these pieces so that it fits the whole front of the little flaps in the front. I ended up adding some crystals to the little cupcake, and now I'm just sort of measuring and testing it here so that I can put the panel and make sure the little circle goes in the middle in the proper place. Now I'm adding that front flap. Again, I want to add some tape runner, but here you don't see it, but I ended up removing it and adding glue to make sure it really got stuck together, because there's so many layers. This really needs to be really strong, or maybe you can use some double-sided tape. It just needs to be really strong tape that can hold it really well. So I was having a little bit of a hard time closing the little flaps because the crystals that I had added had not completely dried yet. So when I was trying to close it, it sort of will remove even like the little top right crystal there. So I had to add it again and actually let it dry for quite a while to make sure that it really got stuck there, so when the flaps close it wouldn't get caught in the crystal, and if it did, it wouldn't remove it, it would sort of like close it. So you do need to allow it time to completely dry. And it's actually maybe the glue that I'm using as well is, I think it's called Burley something glue. Sorry, I'm gonna put it in the description below. But I noticed that that glue doesn't dry that fast, so I'm still trying it out. So you may want to try different glue that dries faster. For me, this one hasn't been drying that fast, so I sort of have to let it dry for a while. So off camera, I added the happy birthday greeting, a little bit of crystals inside the shutter card, and some crystals on the front as well. I adhered this to a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 white card base, added a greeting inside, and now I'm working on adding this little vellum flap, actually not flap, like a band to it, so that it closes the windows and the windows stay closed until the person opens it. And at this point, this is the day after, so I let it dry overnight because I added glue to the different parts as I mentioned before. And now everything is completely dried and everything is strong. So now I'm just working on adding this little vellum band to it. I'm going to be adding a little Velcro type button. And then that circle that I cut before that had the little flowers, I added some crystals to that as well, and I'm putting that in the middle, as you will see. And then after adhering the little shutter card to my card base, I also added some shimmery blue color to the side, as you see here, and I used some distress ink to do that. This is the little circle that I added some really strong double-sided tape to it and put it in the middle so that it serves like a little belt buckle. And then I also added some crystals to these little circles. This was the one that I had left over from before. So I think the card turned out really nice. Because it's a little bit thick, you may need to put it in a little bit bigger envelope, so maybe a 5x7 envelope, but I think it turned out really nice. Again, let me know what do you think. And here's another card that I created with some different pattern paper. Again, I think it turned out nice. I also put it in a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 card base, and again, I think it's nice. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you come back for another video again.